Throughout the mid to late 2010s, it became very popular in video games for that game to include what was called a Battle Pass, a system where you had levels that you would reach and level up to unlock new characters through gaining XP in the game. In 2K21, MyTeam decided to include this in the game for the first time. Nobody really knew exactly how this would be executed in MyTeam, so naturally there was a bunch of speculation within the community during the first couple weeks leading up to 2K21 and how they would go about level 40. Up until the game was officially released, we really didn't have any other details outside of the fact that the level 40 reward would be Pink Diamond Stephen Curry. Of course, nobody was that excited because it was only Stephen Curry, and MyTeam generally wasn't always seen as one of the greatest because of his height only being 6'3", but we quickly found out that this card was going to be incredible and was going to hold relevance in the new game. Many different creators started somewhat of a race to see who could be first to get the level 40 Stephen Curry. Print Parachute 6, a good friend of mine, actually was the first person to get this Pink Diamond Stephen Curry, and once he got the card, many others followed suit, and everybody came to quickly realize that this was one of the best cards that we had seen in early game MyTeam ever. This card held relevance in 2K21 for like 4 to 5 months. People were running this card in competitive tournaments all the way through January. This was one of the first cards in the game that came with Hoth Limitless, the Curry Escape. He really had it all. This card, on the scale of all the others, is going to be a 10 out of 10. I will be ranking all of the level 40s we have ever received in this video, and the first one we're ranking for Season 1 in 2K21 is going to be Steph Curry, and he's going to get a 10 out of 10 because his longevity was absolutely unreal. We have a quick clip here from DBG to kind of recap how the community was feeling about him at the time. Just remember, as time went on, people started feeling more and more positive about this card.
Is he the best point guard in the game? Without question. Is he worth grinding for if you are close to getting Steph Curry? Yes.
Just like that, we were into Season 2 in 2K21. It was announced that the level 40 would be Pink Diamond Blake Griffin. It was quite the controversial one. Some people thought he'd be great, some people thought he'd be good, and to sum it up, he was just really good. This card had more longevity in 2K21 than I originally had expected. He was the first type of center that was pretty well rounded. He could rebound, he could shoot, he could run, he could dunk the ball, he really could get it done, and for that reason, he ended up making most people's comp lineups through probably December. I'm going to have to go ahead and give this Pink Diamond Blake Griffin a good 9 out of 10. I find that more than fair, and he was definitely all worthy of that for sure, at least a 9. For the start of Season 3, a lot of hype was built around this card, which was our level 40 Dwyane Wade. The reason why this card was so well received once announced was because in 2K21, D-Wade was quite the legend. His jump shot was like base 98, D-Wade base, pretty much the same type of thing, and for that reason, everybody was super excited to get their hands on this D-Wade. Once people got their hands on their card, they realized this card was definitely it. He was excellent on current gen, but on next gen, he left a little bit to be desired. The card definitely had a faster jump shot on current gen, and he wasn't all that great on next. For that reason, I'm going to give him a solid 7 out of 10. This card definitely was a higher than 7 on current, and on next he was probably lower than a 7, so we'll just meet somewhere in the middle. We can kind of hear Ty sum up the similar thoughts right now.
Final takeaway is that Dwyane Wade is the best point guard in NBA 2K21 MyTeam, at least on current gen. This is all on current gen because I think that's where most of the people that got Dwyane Wade probably played the game. But that is going to wrap it up for the video.
Just like that, we were into Season 4 of 2K21, where the level 40 reward was announced to be Galaxy Opal Kawhi Leonard. This card was definitely very good. One thing to note about this card though is he was actually updated. He came out on the database before he was available at the launch of Season 4. By the end of Season 4, he was considered to be a bit underwhelming, so 2K went ahead and upgraded his badges, most notably giving him Hall of Fame blinders. Once people got their hands on this card, it was very apparent that he was probably the best wing in the game. There was a few other shooting guard options out at the time like John Havlicek, but this card could really do it all outside of having quick or shifty. Everything else about this card, from the defense to the sigs to the jump shot, was near perfect on both gens, but he did lack that quicker shifty dribble style, which made his longevity maybe not as great as some other cards, particularly on next gen. For that reason, this card's gonna get a solid 9.5. That is literally the only flaw. If he had that quicker shifty dribble style, I would definitely be giving this card an easy 10, but he did not have that. Outside of that though, the card was money on both ends of the floor and definitely one of the most rewarding level 40s of all time. Now 250k was over and we were on our way into endgame MyTeam. For Season 5, we got Galaxy Opal David Robinson as the level 40 reward. I was a big fan of this card, but I'm not sure everybody was. This card, in my opinion, was very good when he came out, but maybe not absolutely game-breaking like Kawhi or Stephen Curry was. However, it felt like we were very much in need of a center when we got this card, and one thing that made it kind of not so great is they dropped the Dark Matter Kareem in packs the following Friday this card was released. They did give this card the Kawhi treatment and went ahead and updated his badges. I'm tempted to give him a 9, but for the sake of the community opinion, I'm going to go ahead and give him an 8 out of 10. I was a big fan of this card, good release, really well worth it in my opinion, but maybe just not on the level of some of the other level 40s we had up to this point. Then we were on to Season 6, which was titled Glitched Reality. It was announced that the level 40 was going to be the first Dark Matter, and it was J.R. Smith. This was definitely a different type of level 40 though. There was a gold Tyronn Lue card that could be obtained through various methods like typing in locker codes backwards that had an XP agenda that could make it so you could achieve level 40 for the Season 6 and get J.R. Smith in less than 5 minutes. Not that many people were able to obtain J.R. Smith through that method, and once people got their hands on this card, they were pretty underwhelmed. Other cards had came out this season, like Dark Matter Ben Simmons, who played the same position as him and were considered to be quite a bit better. This card was decent in the right hands, but overall, I can't give it anything higher than a 7 out of 10. We were well into endgame 2K21, Season 7 came, Dark Matter Vince Carter was the reward for level 40. This card is arguably the most forgettable level 40 reward from 2K21, and for that reason, I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think this was the first level 40 that I actually didn't really try to even use in my lineup, as there was just a slew of better cards out at the time. On the bright side though, 2K did make it so that the grind was quite a bit easier to hit level 40, and you were actually able to do it on the first day that the season came out. For that reason, it kind of came a bit of a race again, probably not like in Season 1 where there was multiple content creators trying to go for it, but a bit of a race, which Espy ended up winning, so we can kind of share the moment of him getting the first Vince Carter in the world here.
We need all the W's, all the shakas, everything that we have. As far as I know, this is world first Vince Carter. Okay?
On to Season 8, 2K must have heard the complaints about the prior two cards and dropped possibly the best level 40 reward of all time with Invincible Luka Doncic. This card came with XM base, it came with practically the perfect SIGs, Pro-Am point guard types of SIGs that you can be seen showing off on your screen right now by this random cool looking content creator. This card really had it all. I have no choice but to give this card a 10 out of 10. He got it done on next gen, he got it done on current gen, and was one of the most popular point guards through rest of the game cycle for everybody to use. For the final level 40 of 2K21, we were introduced to Dark Matter Invincible Dr. J Julius Erving. In the grand scheme, this probably was up there with the most irrelevant level 40 cards of all time to date. Reason being is this card was released so late in the year when we already had Invincibles of multiple different players at each position. There was nothing that this card did that stood out from the rest of the cards available at that time, and for that reason, I can only give it a 6 out of 10. This was the last level 40 reward card that we saw in 2K21. It was pretty easy to get on the bright side, and I don't quite remember, but through the little bit of reviewing that I did for this video, it looks like my friend 3 Shaw was the first person to get the level 40, so W for Shaw and on to 2K22. And just like that, we're into 2K22. Towards the end of the summer, 2K dropped their dev blog talking about details for the new game, where they announced that the first level 40 reward for MyTeam would be Pink Diamond Carmelo Anthony. There was quite a bit of optimism around this Carmelo Anthony card, particularly for next gen players. People were concerned that he wouldn't be able to shoot corner threes on current gen as Carmelo has not been able to in previous years, and they were correct. But that did not stop this card from being very, very good, and when he was obtainable, he was definitely the best card in the game for his time. For that reason, I gotta give him a solid 9 out of 10. The reason why he's not a 10 out of 10 is he just didn't have that it factor and the longevity of somebody like a Stephen Curry or a Luka Doncic from the prior year. This card also had a bit of a race to first between RJ Watts and Chandler Gregg and a few others who dropped out shortly before. Chandler Gregg actually ended up getting the first Carmelo Anthony and going on to qualify for the $250,000 tournament this year. We can see a moment in time from when he first got the card.
Thanks. As you can see, we have got the first Melo in the world. Got it about an hour after the packs drops. MyTeam in the replies.
Soon enough, we were on to Season 2 in MyTeam. It was announced that the level 40 reward would be Pink Diamond Kevin Garnett. We were kinda short for centers at this time, with Dikembe and Wilt really being our only options, so a lot of people were pretty excited for this card as he was billed to be the first versatile, do-it-all type of center. This card was definitely good, but due to a slower jump shot and a few other taller centers coming out shortly after, he probably wasn't one of the greatest level 40s this year or ever, to be quite frank. Pretty controversial, some people loved him, some people hated him. I'm going to go ahead and give him an 8 out of 10. I feel like that's a fair spot to land for this Pink Diamond Kevin Garnett. We are into Season 3 already, and we got one of the most controversial level 40s of all time. That is the 6-foot-tall Galaxy Opal Season 3 level 40 Allen Iverson. This card had the community very, very split upon being released. Some people thought he was the best point guard, some people thought he was unplayable. Either way, the people who thought that he was the best point guard, they weren't singing that tune for long, as other point guards did come out shortly after that were probably indefinitely better, but for his time, he could go get a bucket when not that many cards could. I was a fan of him, I know other people had good luck with him, and other people just downright hated him, didn't grind for him, maybe they got him, and maybe they didn't use him. We can hear Ty's reaction to this card now to get a little better of an idea of how other people felt, but for me, I have to give this card a 9 out of 10.
Easy to be able to compete on the interior with Hall of Fame ball stripper. I really do. I think Allen Iverson is actually really solid in NBA 2K22 MyTeam. Is he worth grinding? No. But I think you can make the case he's the best point guard in the game. I think you can make that case. Now, obviously, I don't know if I want to see him on my court, but...
Before we knew it, we were into Season 4, and spoiler alert, we got the best level 40 card of 2K22, and that was Galaxy Opal Yao Ming. Once this Galaxy Opal Yao Ming was announced as the level 40 season reward, people went absolutely crazy because it was very obvious that this card would play directly into the mashing meta that had developed over the year in 2K22. This card is an easy 10 out of 10. So many people use this card to qualify. Some people even ran this card in the 250k tournament, and I truthfully think that if you loaded into a game today using this card from Season 4, you would probably do just fine. He did have some deficiencies in speed, but as you can see on your screen right now, this man brought mashing to a whole new level in 2K22 and was definitely considered to be the easiest card to use for his time and also the best card. There was a point in time when people were refusing to wager until they got this Yao Ming card. Up until that point, they had been wagering daily. This card was definitely a big game changer for 2K22. Then we were into Season 5 where the level 40 reward was Dark Matter, the first Dark Matter level 40, Ray Allen. This card definitely didn't get a lot of hype, and for good reason. They really didn't make this card as great as he probably could have been, and he was also announced on the same day that Dark Matter Kawhi Leonard dropped in packs. Of course, Kawhi Leonard plays the same position as Ray Allen, and also has the same jump shot as Ray Allen, so most people thought to themselves, why would I ever use this Ray Allen? I do remember Kenny Zeus using him in 250k, but I think he was literally the only one despite him being the newest level 40. I'm going to have to give this card a 6 out of 10 because he really did not move the needle at all for too many people in this game. For the last two level 40 cards here, I'm going to keep things rather brief. It just feels kind of weird to cover this like it's history when it only happened a few months ago. Of course, we got the Dark Matter Josh Giddey as our level 40 in the second most recent season of 2K22. This card, definitely good. Great? That's another question. Of course, Michael Jordan came out the same season as him. Luka Doncic came out the same season as him. Those two are still the top point guards on 2K22 today. This card is definitely decent, probably a bit underrated. An easy 8 out of 10, very solid, but just in the shadow of Michael Jordan and Luka Doncic, who are still relevant in the game today. This Giddey, yeah, he could still play right now. He's 6'8", he's got enough size. His jump shot's not the greatest, but I mean, he's not ever going to be a liability for you, so that's good enough for an 8 out of 10 for me. And that brings us to the most recent level 40 in NBA 2K22 MyTeam. That is, of course, Invincible Anthony Edwards. This season is still going on to this day. You're still able to get this Invincible Anthony Edwards if you would like. However, I don't think he's that great. When he was announced, people pretty much had the impression of he needs to play point guard to be relevant. Well, I don't think that would have even really saved the card. Is he decent? Of course he is. Is he better than cards like Invincible T-Mac or other options that we have that now play the 2, or a better primary ball handler than Michael Jordan or Luka Doncic? Absolutely not. The card leaves a little bit to be desired, but at the end of the day, he's an Invincible, and there's not all that many out right now, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, please do me a big favor, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys' favorite card was that you saw in this video. You guys know the drill, you've been on YouTube long enough. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate you as always. I'll be back soon.